So
Yeah.
how did me and you meet? I remember we were hanging out. I was hanging out with Dr. Andy Galpin after the Joe Rogan podcast at one of the UFC fights, and I wanted to get my blood work checked out, and he said the man is Dan Garner. So I think that's when me and you got in contact, and then I didn't end up doing it. And then Sugar was talking about always worrying about his gut and always something going on in training with his gut and not really sure if he's eating this. And he'd always complain like, God, I just feel like whey protein's not good for me and all this stuff. So I was like, well, let's get you in contact with Dan Garner. And you tested his poop, his pee, his saliva,
Blood,
all that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So you want me to get into that a little bit here?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, for sure. So getting into that, when it comes to that kind of stuff, yeah, Galpin put us together back in the day. I think it was about a year or so ago. Me and Tim got hooked up. But then Tim, if I remember correctly, did you break your jaw?
Yes.
Yeah, I did. I remember that. Yeah, because I think that's what kind of halted us at the time. But I remember we were going to work together, and then what I essentially do is my job, first and foremost, to put it simple, is to take out the guesswork. That's what I do. I'm a very big fan of respecting both the science and art of nutrition coaching. And when it comes to marrying those two together, that's when you can really take out the guesswork, because you use the lifestyle analysis from Sean himself. I want to know Sean's goals. I want to know how he feels about his body, because he knows his body better than I ever will, regardless of the lab analysis. You need to combine the both. So a series of questionnaires needs to be outlined, because not everything that counts can be counted. You know, we're always trying to quantify things in modern time, but subjective measures are just as relevant as quantitative measures when it comes to nutrition. So I have Sean fill out a series of assessments so I can really get an insight on all that stuff. And then we go through the labs. So the labs is where we start taking out a lot of the guesswork. So you're bang on the money. I do saliva, urine, stool, and blood analysis to get a full comprehensive layout on his vitamin mineral status, his antioxidant status, his inflammation status, all of his sex hormones, how well he's recovering, how much stress he is impeding upon his body. So that gives me insight on how much recoverable training volume that he can go through. So lots of stuff here that we could get into for a very long time, including the microbiome, lots of stuff there. And essentially the idea is to marry the science and art of programming to create the perfect program by listening to absolutely everything Sean has to say about himself and his training, but then using the objective measures of every last piece of data I can get to take out the guesswork and make the perfect plan for him.
That's awesome.